Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to edit 3D models for MotoGP 18. We are going to need the modding tools that I provided on Race Department. The link is in the description. And we are also going to need 3D Studio Max and a plugin for it. You will find everything in the description. So go ahead and download the modding tools. I'm going to extract the files in a folder called tutorial for this example. Let me create the folder. Tutorial, super. Now open up the folder, go inside the export folder and launch UModel. You have to navigate to the game folder, that is MotoGP 18. I saved my file path here, so I'm going to copy paste it. It might not work for you, so just make sure you go inside the right folder. It should be inside Steam Apps, Common, MotoGP 18. Hit OK, and leave the settings as they are. We are good to go. Wait for it to load the files first, and this window will pop up. So the files that we need, the 3D models for the bikes, are inside MotoGP 18, content, assets, graphics, and vehicles. Go inside the bikes and you will find a bunch of bikes. So each MotoGP bike has its own folder. For example, bike 001 should be the Aprilia, and it's Aleix Espargaro's Aprilia. Hit O on the keyboard and you can select a new one. So open the schedule mesh, bike 10. Okay, and this is the bike I will edit for this tutorial. Tools, export current object. Now wait for it to export all the files. Okay, so UModel now has extracted all the materials, the 3D files, the textures, and they are located inside the exports folder. Click on UModel export, assets, graphics, vehicles, bikes. Okay, and this is the stuff that has been exported. So now I'm going to copy all the materials and textures inside the folder that contains the bike mesh. This is because when we are going to import everything into 3ds Max, the bike will appear with the right livery and with all the textures. So open up 3D Studio Max. Okay, you're going to need this plugin. It's called ActorX Importer for 3ds Max, and you can download it from this page. I'm going to leave the link in the description anyway. Simply click on the link under the installation title. Okay, this one. And you're good to go. Okay, so from the ActorX import dialog, we're going to click on import PSK, and we are going to import the bike model that we extracted. So make sure you are in that folder. I will copy paste it. Yeah, okay. And import bike 10 PSK. Okay, wait for it to load the files. There we go. As you can see, we have the bike, but the tires textures are missing. This is because I forgot to copy paste the bike text, the tires textures inside the folder where the skeletal mesh is. So I'm going to do it now. Copy both the materials and the textures. All right. Just make sure you are copy pasting stuff and not cutting, because it's better this way. Okay, just make sure you copy everything. I'm gonna need this one as well. And these ones. All right, so I'm going to do it again. Import like 10, and now it's going to load everything. Perfect. This is our bike. So as you can see, there are two items. One is the 3D model, and the other one is the skeleton. The skeleton is applied to the model, and it controls the way it moves. So if we click on this bone on the bottom, and we move it or rotate it, it's going to affect the model. So click on the bone and then click on E and try to rotate it. See? Okay, we can undo this. Then we are going to import our custom models. So for this tutorial, I made the new wings, the new Ducati wings. Okay, and there they are. We need to combine the default mesh with the modded mesh. So, and we also need to preserve the skeleton. So what I'm going to do is click on the mesh. Okay. As you can see, if I move the mesh, the default mesh, the wings aren't moving because they are not combined together. So click down the mesh and then on editable poly and say yes. Excuse me, editable mesh. And then scroll down and hit attach and click on the mesh you want to combine. Okay, do this for every single piece you want to attach. We are done. Super. Now, as you can see, there are two modifiers on top. The first one, the skin, basically links the skeleton with the mesh. So you want to edit the mesh below the skin modifier. Now wait for it to recalculate the skinning. Okay. I don't need these two objects. We can delete them. Okay. Now we have again our skeleton and our bike model, and as you can see, if I move the skeleton around, the whole model moves. So we can export everything. I will export it in the tutorial folder on the desktop. And I will call it bike 010. Okay. Done. Now we can launch the Unreal Engine. I'm using the version 4.18 and you can use it as well. It's usually, there are no errors between the versions usually. I think the game uses the version 4.17. So it's going to take some time to load, so I will see you when it's done. We are going to create a new project and I will call it tutorial. There we go. We can delete all the starter content. So remove these from the scene and delete all the folders. It's going to take some time. Or you can start a new project and choose to start it without the starter content. That would have been a better idea. Force delete. Make sure you delete all the folders. Okay, now we can start. So we have to recreate the same folder structure that we saw in new model. You could do this manually, but in order to avoid typos or human mistakes, what I like to do is to drag and drop the extracted folders. So drop assets. It's going to give you some errors because our folders contain also some materials that are in a format that your Unreal Engine doesn't recognize, but it's okay. Wait for it to finish. Okay. As you can see, we have our directories. Now go to the skeletal mesh folder, skeletal meshes folder, and drag and drop our bike model. Click on import. It's going to generate the 3D model, a physical asset for it, and also import the skeleton. Okay, there was a duplicated material. It's okay. So double click on the mesh now. And you can see this is our bike. On the left, you can see all the materials that are applied. Close it. Now we are going to recreate the materials, because when you import the model, Unreal automatically places the materials inside the folder where the mesh is. But if you open new model and you go back to the bike folder, you will notice that the materials are actually inside a folder called material instances. And there are also a bunch of different folders, physics assets and skeletons, when we don't have them. So we have to create them manually, because we will have to move some stuff inside these folders. If you don't do it, it's not going to work in game. So make sure the names are correct when you do this, because it's easy to make a mistake. Copy the name, create a new folder, and paste it. Okay. Now let's go into a bike 10 folder and click on all the materials. You can do this by filtering matte in the filters tab, and right click and create a material instance. This will create a material instance for each material. Don't click anything, just copy them, Ctrl C, and then go to material instances and paste them. Okay, now we have to rename them by removing the underscore inst, so we have the same name as the original materials. This one is a duplicate, so we can delete it. Okay. And the tire. Okay, the tire actually needs to be inside another folder. As you can see here, it needs to be inside bikes, tires, MotoGP, material instances. Okay, so copy it and put it in the right folder. Tires, MotoGP, material instances. Super. Now we can delete it from here. Okay, go back into the bike and skeletal mesh folder. We can delete the material instances inside the skeletal meshes folder, because we have them inside another folder. So go back and apply the material instance. Make sure it's the one contained inside the right folder. That is bike 10/material instances. Do this for every material. Okay. We have to switch from the simple material to the material instance. We have to do this because, well, the game is made like this. So each model looks for material instances inside that folder. Oh, this one is the tire, the front tire that is missing. So we will apply it, tire, okay, material instance. Material instance. Okay. Inner glass. The lights. And the last one is the material for my custom model, that are the wings. And I'm going to apply the livery. You're not going to have this last material. Now we can check the model and everything looks fine. You may apply a wrong material to the model, and if you do it, you will see like this, something like this. It's okay. You can simply change the material. it's an easy fix. Make sure the rims and the smaller things are correct. Okay. Go back to the livery, material instance. Okay. Now we're going to save it. Oh, first, let's double check that you applied the material instances instead of the simple materials. Because if you left one material, it's going to crash. Okay. Now we are going to move the skeleton and the physics assets. Copy the skeleton, Ctrl C, and paste it inside the skeletons folder, and do the same for the physics assets, but copy it inside the physics assets folder. Now we have to apply them to the skeletal mesh. Again, it's important to do this because it's how the game works. So open the mesh. You can see there the skeleton. Okay, but the things applied are the one inside the skeletal meshes. We need to replace them. So right click on the mesh and assign skeleton. As you can see, there are two. The default one and the one that we copied. We need to choose the one that we copied inside the skeletons folder. This is the bottom one. Okay, not the first one. Accept. So now we applied the right skeleton. Save all. Super. The last thing that we need to do is to apply the right physics asset, because this one is applied right now, but we need to apply the other one that we copied. So double click on the mesh, scroll down until you see the physics tab. Click on the physics asset and choose the other one. As you can see, the bottom one is inside the physics assets folder, while the first one is inside the skeletal mesh folder, and we need this one. Okay, save. I think we are good now. Remember that this is not a tutorial about skin editing. This is about 3D model editing. Okay, we can save all and cook content for Windows. The cooked files will be, you can find them inside documents, Unreal projects, your project name, in my case tutorial, and saved, cooked. Just wait for it to cook. Okay, it's done cooking, so go inside content, assets, graphics. As you can see, this is the same folders that we had in UModel and that we recreated inside the Unreal Engine. We are just going to need the bike model, so we can delete the rest. So the material instances, the physics assets, everything except the skeletal meshes folder. So you may wonder why we created them in the first place. This is because our model needs to contain the references to those files. So we only need them as a reference. And we will need the bike 10 model, that is to say the first two files. We don't need the rest because, again, If you open up UModel, you will see that the skeletal meshes only has this file, the ByQ asset. So we are keeping these ones and we are deleting the rest. Because they are not supposed to be here. So we can go back to the content folder, the tutorial folder, and copy it. Okay, Control C. Then go inside our desktop tutorial folder, modding tools, importing game, open the MotoGP 18 folder, and you will see another content folder. Paste it over. So if you go inside them, you will see that we have our cooked content. Okay, paste it. As you can see, everything is here. Make sure the file path is correct. Otherwise, you need to go back to Unreal Engine and correct it and cook again. We have MotoGP 18 content, assets, and it's the same we have here. If you open the model, look at the top package address, and it's the same. MotoGP 18 content, assets, graphics, vehicles, bikes, bike 10, okay, and of course skeletal meshes. I cannot stress this enough. You have to make sure it's correct, otherwise it's not going to work. In this case, it's not going to show up. So copy the repacked command and then hold down Shift and right click, open command window here. Paste the command and hit enter. This will create a new pack file. Otherwise, you can do it in another way. That is to say, to save the pack command as a BAT file, .bat, and select save as type all files. Okay, this will create a little file that will do it automatically. Simply click on repack command .bat and this will create it without doing it manually. Okay, cut the new pack file and go to the MotoGP 18 root folder. This is my root folder. It should be the same for you, but make sure you go to the right folder, inside content, packs, and drop it here. And we're good to go. We can test if it's working or not. Let's launch MotoGP 18. You may find this stuff a little bit complicated at first, but it becomes pretty easy. As you can see, we have the new model inside, so it's working. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, good. And I will show you that we can actually use it. So if the game crashes or you have, I don't know, weird bugs happening, it's because you screwed up something. So it's either that you didn't place the files in the correct folder, or that you didn't apply the right materials with the right name and the right folder placement. Okay. Cool. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Let me know if you encounter any problem. I will try to help.